What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 54 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Thorgrim Grudgebearer Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, we have reached our borders in a lot of places and by the looks of it have sent about half of our Reclaimer armies to basically sit there, speeding up the admin fairly considerably. We've also traded a lot of territory, which further speeds up the admin, and we're looking to get more battles underway in the last couple of episodes of the campaign. And speaking of battles, I believe last episode we ended the episode off with the idea that Bernoth Baruch will attack hither here, and everything else is, by the looks of it, done. At least, wait, who are you? And why are you here? And, oh, you, yes, you need to go in here. Now everything is done, I think. Let me just check the heroes, because clearly I didn't do that. But fortunately, unlike before, we don't have a million heroes running around, so that one's easy. Anyway, Bernoth Baruch, you gonna go attack hither. We'll see how many rats are going to join the fray here. Or hither, I should say. And, oh. Weird, okay. Again, game. Again. Alright, I'm just going to manually fight this because this is the game's being silly here. I don't really understand why the rats aren't helping, but, well, it is what it is. It can happen sometimes. And maybe that's, I wonder if the rats declined or whether they weren't in range, because I'm pretty sure the settlement is a tier 5 settlement full of clan Eshin rats. Well, either way, it's an artillery army. One little army is going to be of no threat whatsoever, minus the stalking monsters, potentially, but even then, I wager, not that big of an issue. Alright, so we'll set up like this. You and you, okay, like... I don't know, like so, it doesn't really matter. Let's do this. Enemy can't summon or do anything about it, so I'll do that. And then we'll put the units of cannons on the sides like so. Alright, and these guys in front, these guys behind them, like so, maybe a little bit more forward like so, there we go, and alright, we gotta intersperse the engineers so that they buff everybody. I almost forgot. Alrighty, go here, like so, and then these 2 units of engineers. The setup is honestly longer than the actual combat in some ways. Well, that may not be the case. I guess we'll see in a bit. Alright, you 2 engineers, get ready to float overhead, and maybe a little bit more centered. Everybody turn off skirmish mode, and I believe we're good. So, start the battle, go, and we'll have you activate your ballistics caliber. No, what? An army has... Oh, they still have the... Well, you summoned on top the goblin hewers, which... guys, would you not maybe fire all that artillery on the goblin hewers, please? I mean, they still got wrecked, but... Okay, yeah, I forgot that the Dark Elves just like to summon a bunch of stuff. Anyway, there we go. Artillery, fire. I'm not even going to bother telling them what to fire at until the enemy starts moving towards us. This is disgusting. Still feel like it would have been really nice to have a couple of steam tanks with the whatchamacallums, Hellblaster volley guns, but all good. Nice little combination of artillery. The Hellstorm rocket batteries working together with the grudge throwers in the back line. We got our organ guns and cannons firing away, and our flame cannons and our goblin hewers waiting for the enemy to move on in, which the enemy is surprisingly not doing. I guess technically speaking right now only our long-range artillery is in range. Actually, speaking of, cannon, fire at you. Cannon, fire at you. And all of you go into guard mode so that you don't move. Then we will activate another ballistics calibration. I assume the first one is up. And hey, if it isn't, another summoning of demon gnats. But again on the goblin hewers. You're not gonna win against the goblin hewers, guys. What is this? Yeah, and they get immediately ripped apart. No problem. 68-59 melee attack and defense on these guys. They're still slayers. So yeah, frankly, so far we did a lot more damage to ourselves than the enemy ever did or ever hoped to do. Keep on firing, I guess. A few more enemy units to bring down. Maybe let's activate A's of our 42 pounders, like so. And normal speed, and then speed it back up, like so. Beautiful. And, alright, then I would like you to go this way. And I would like you to go this way. because there might be a stalking monster somewhere. Ah, there we go. If it isn't some stalking monsters. Oh, this poor army. Alrighty, well, let's get them down while we're at it, and then make sure that the enemy actually dies. Did the cannons actually stop? Oh. Why did you stop firing at the enemy lord? I thought I told you to do that. Well, now the lord survived. I hope you're happy. I hope you're proud of yourselves. This is what happens when you stop firing. It just goes to show, never stop firing, folks. Anyway, let's do that, though. It was a little bit too late. It's kind of hard to aim when it's on max speed. But all right, decisive victory, hardly surprising. Again, I was expecting, like, fully expecting the rats to join in with an elite garrison and hit us with 2 stacks at the same time, which would have made this a lot more worthwhile, especially since we would be potentially overwhelmed by sheer numbers. That didn't happen, though. The one little army had no chance, and I still find it both bizarre and irritating that the cannons are killed off by the auto-resolve when we have goblin hewers. In what world, game, would the cannons be hit by the enemy before the goblin hewers, especially considering the cannons have the longest range of any of our artillery and can fire nearly across the map? They would thus probably be at the very rear of the column, or actually, in our case, they were in the middle of the column because the units that arc their shots were further back. But you know what? Nothing. There we go. That army should be pretty much destroyed. Now the question is, yeah, if we chase it down, I'm willing to, we won't be able to go to Cabreros, so we're just going to, yeah, it is full of, oh, it's a different Skaven faction. That's why. Huh, I didn't know that. Well, that's neat. And declare war. I mean, we don't have to, but, I mean, somebody's got to do this, right? Yeah. I didn't even realize there was another Skaven clan that was alive. Alright, well, we'll give them a chance to sally out and attack us, then you can besiege, and see if they're willing, and if they're not, then we'll destroy them. And if they are, we'll destroy them. Frankly, it doesn't really change things. I just think it's a lot more fun to watch the enemy get obliterated on the battlefield rather than, you know, breaking down the walls with artillery and then killing everybody inside before they can do anything. So, we will skip, we will skip, we will skip, we will skip. Upgrade you. Alright, fine, we'll upgrade some of the outposts. Just so I don't have to see this at every turn. Man, admittedly, there were a lot of outposts that I apparently did not upgrade, but they were from factions that are useless by and large, namely the Southern Realms. Oh, they're going to the 1,000 maws are going to attack us and thereby draw the Skaven out. The funny thing is this completely screws the Skaven because it makes it so that they come in as reinforcements, meaning they have no chance against us. If it weren't for the cannons being destroyed, I'd probably just auto-resolve it. But, I mean, doesn't everybody enjoy watching just absolutely bonkers numbers of enemies get obliterated by artillery on occasion? I do. Let's go. Alrighty, here we go. I'm tempted, or I was, let's say, tempted to say that the Dark Elves royally screwed up by forcing the Skaven out of their burrow and onto the battlefield against an artillery army. But the question is, did they really? One, it's, you know, Dark Elves and Skaven, they're a couple of pretty betray-y factions, and I can see the Dark Elves certainly trying to use their Skaven allies in this manner, and certainly the Skaven returning the favor. The other thing is, deployment-wise, this might actually have been a great idea because both of the enemy full stacks, that's 2 full stacks, are coming in behind us and with tree cover. Now, this means that what we're going to try our best to do is knock out as many of the Dark Elves as possible and then try to rush forward to take positions so that we can fire on the enemy before, well, before they make up too much of the distance, because we have a lot of range on our artillery pieces, but we don't have a lot of ground that the enemy has to cover to get into range. Anyway, a couple more shots. Man, this Supreme Sorceress has certainly done a lot of work by just sitting there. But it looks like she's pretty much done for with 300 HP, and I'm just going to hope that the Master Engineer brings her down. Oh, now you're moving super slow with that frostbite, and I guess that the engineer couldn't land a shot. Yeah, that would have been really helpful for the artillery pieces. Anyway, the sorceress is done for, and now we have to move quickly as we can to take position. I find myself wishing that I had a runesmith here, and ooh, just as we move, interesting. I did not, So the enemy can still use their Demonette summoning and thus, I guess, army abilities, even though the army that those abilities and such are bound to has been defeated and killed down to a man. That's quite interesting. It's also a fantastic use. They use this in the middle of our formation, just as we were in the middle of moving and just as the enemy reinforcements have arrived, which means we are in a bad position here. Our artillery crews are all milling around and are kind of stuck. We're trying to get our units of Slayer Pirates into position. Unfortunately, the Demonettes are starting to move and or otherwise melt away, but this does mean extra seconds that our artillery aren't firing on the enemy. It has, in fact, allowed the enemy artillery to move into position and start firing those Plague Claws and Warp Lightnings back at us before we take position ourselves. Looks like this just turned into a very dangerous battle, and in fact, it might be a lot more dangerous than if we had attacked the enemy's settlement, wherein we would have just bombarded the enemy's walls, brought them all down, and killed everyone inside without ever having to really step into the settlement, especially with the range bonuses that we have. Anyway, enemy artillery fire is dropping down among us, and the artillery shootout at least has begun. First of the enemy Plague Claws has fallen to our flame cannon fire, and the second one is currently in the process of being shot up by our organ guns. And by cannons as well. There we go. Everybody just focus those guys down. It looks like the enemy decided to make use of its artillery here, rather than attempting to just charge us with everything it had. It probably would have been better served to attempt to charge us immediately. It might have also been taken the time to move into position, so all of the reinforcements arrived here, but it decided to send half of them all the way out and essentially cover the entire battlefield so that they can rush us and probably close in around us. As to whether this is going to pay off in any manner remains to be seen. I don't know why this is, for some reason the banner of this particular unit is stuck here, where some of those units died. I don't know what the deal is. I guess it doesn't really matter. I really wanted to take position up here where we can essentially protect ourselves by covering this choke point with the Goblin Hewers, but alas, couldn't happen. Oh well. Anyway, just keep on firing best you can. Hellstorm rocket batteries having a little bit more of a difficult time than usual as they don't have blobs to target, and probably half of their rockets are being blocked by the enemy tree line. Or just the tree line. I mean, I guess in this particular situation it is acting as our enemy, so enemy tree line, why not? Alright, and there we go. The enemy is either annoyed or formed up enough to start moving towards us. The rats at the front may even be a distraction for the massive amount of rats that are moving in on the right and left flanks. It'll most likely mean that we will have to reposition our army such that we can actually fight them. We see the first of our Goblin Hewers moving in to block off any enemies charging in on the flanks. And other artillery pieces will slowly but surely reposition themselves to shadow the movements of the enemy army. It is perhaps a little bit unnerving to be in an all-artillery train here and just spot enemies on every single side of you. And while the Slayers, I'm sure, are happy that they can, slay and be slain in all directions, perhaps not so much for the rest of the artillery crews. And ooh, we even got some rat ogres on this side. Gonna try to knock at least a few of them out with cannon fire before they get around us. And it looks like they're going to use this hill and or the cliffside for cover. Storm Vermin unit has nearly reached us on the left flank. What the heck are you doing, rocket battery? And just fired into our own units. It is a danger with rocket batteries. They're really bad at firing close range. There's a high tendency for them to hit our own units. Enemy Lord on the bright side has been defeated, and the rats that were moving directly with the Lord to the front have been obliterated as well. And it looks like between the engineers and the goblin hewers, this unit of storm vermin is done for. We've got like a dozen units moving in behind us, and we're going to have to reform again to deal with that. And the same thing over on the right flank. The enemy seems a little bit too overly intent, I would say, to try to get around us, because this is actually no longer working for them. They're taking too long, essentially, and the longer they take, the less critical mass of units that they have. And we are still able to reposition the relatively fast-moving goblin hewer units to take the brunt of any enemy charges that manage to try to get towards us. Goblin hewers see the rat ogres up, and yeah, they got 62 speed. It's an artillery with 62 speed and a crew that can fight in melee. There we go. And with the buffs, I really like the goblin hewers. When I originally played them in my Malachi campaign with the, they obviously don't have as many buffs and aren't as viable in vanilla as in SFO, but the additional speed really gives has a lot going for them. Though they are obviously a lot faster in vanilla than regular artillery as well. They're just even faster in SFO due to whatever buffs we managed to rack up. And speed, as I've said many a time, is arguably the best trait. Or stat, rather. I think in vanilla I was saying that they had, their range was too short as well, but we can also in SFO buff them up with those guild masters and the range buffs that they have. And it's not like 100 range is a lot anyway. It's still less range than pretty much all... I mean, it's less range than a slinger. I guess it's at the range of a goblin hewer. See, there we go. Gutter slingers with poison 140 range. So it's still less than them, and they're a close range skirmisher. They'd still be significantly outranged by pretty much any missile infantry that isn't an axe-throwing missile infantry, which I believe might actually also be 100 and something. I'm not sure. Gonna have to double check the Norskins, for example, or our own units pre-buffs. Anyway, with that, the enemy army actually does fail to get around us. It was a good attempt, I gotta say, though. Getting around us, coming in from the back, coming in from both sides and the front, and a great use of the summoning to disrupt our movements from the Dark Elves. Good attempt. Failed, but good attempt. Props to the AI for it. Alright, there we go. I gotta say, pretty interesting decision from the Skaven to get around us, and that was probably as interesting and as tough a fight as the artillery army will ever likely have. The Dark Elves also helped the Skaven a fair bit by sort of trapping us on one side of the map and not allowing us to open up a max distance or find ideal positioning in terms of, getting good positioning against the enemy. A very nice fight for everybody. The Dwarf Engineers actually probably outdamaged the artillery here. 850 kills, 1,000 kills, 100,000 damage, and 100,000 damage apiece, and doing better than the artillery, but I guess it kind of makes sense since the enemy were able to close the distance much faster than they normally would. And who is this? Jesha the Dire Overseer with... We've got 2 stacks moving in against a Reclaimer army. Now, Generally speaking, I would probably say it's not worth fighting with a Reclaimer army than a real army. However, this is one of the situations where this looks like a pretty good fight. I wasn't expecting two armies, and we have no units in this particular army that are adept at killing droves of enemies, and we have no engineer, no ballistics calibration, since it's just a Reclaimer army. The good thing is we don't care if it dies, and the great thing is if this looks like a great fight. So toughies are always fun. Go.
For the ancestors!
Alrighty, here we go. Reclaimer Drakebeard against two full stacks of elite Dark Elves. And I do mean elite. Look at all that veterancy. It is a concerning prospect, let's say. Especially because this is a Reclaimer army, not a real army, just built for auto-resolve and occupying territory, and we have no heroes in it to give us any additional stats or act as anchors for the line, no items that they would be bringing to the fray as well. So as to whether we survive here, definitely remains to be seen. I'm going to start the work with our 3 units of cannons. Oh, I do wish we had a flame cannon here, would be so helpful. As the cannons try to bring down the enemy artillery pieces so that they can't fire upon us, and the enemy supreme sorcerers as well. It does look like the enemy is going to wait for their second army to make it onto the battlefield, but while usually or often this is not a good idea, in this particular case it is very much a good idea. Our cannons can't hope to do a lot of damage at a distance. It's not really what they're for. They're only for trying to snipe individuals. And thus the enemy will have a pretty darn big mass of units to move towards us. And of course, all of their monsters will be hidden. We can't see them, and thus, if you're wondering why this positioning, so we have a few super damaged, 10% of their HP units of Dwarf Warriors, Quarrelers, and other such units from the garrison, which we have positioned essentially in a little half circle around our army, with the idea that they will spot any hidden enemy units, all those hidden monsters, a little bit earlier than the rest of our army, and may take a few charges from the enemy as well. Alright, well, the cannons continue to fire away, and we are going to, we're going to make use of that ability, the army ability that we got from taking out the Skaven, the legendary grudge, the Thagoraki Menace. And what that does is allow us to summon a unit of miners with blasting charges on the field. Noxious gas. Huh. What's that from? I have no idea what's that from, but anyway, allow us to summon the miners on the field. Now, you might think that this is to block the enemy, but it isn't. They got overrun and obliterated pretty much immediately. The point wasn't to do that, it was to get a unit out front to spot hidden units, as we really don't want that black dragon and other things sneaking up. Unfortunately, they're already rather close, and that is a lot of units moving towards us. This might be the end for this army. And they're very much in high likelihood of being overrun. It does look like we are getting value out of the brave units of the garrison that we have positioned outside, as most of the enemy are charging them first. So that aspect of the plan is at least working out, but there aren't enough of them to cover all the lines. So here we go. Feral Bears, Furies, Dragon, Manticore, enemy Master on Chariot, Mammoth, and Black Ark Corsairs, all charging in to the front lines, including into and through the Iron Drakes, which are no longer now firing. And just going to try to bring the big boys down as best we can. We really need those torpedoes to work. And oh, the Mammoth charges through the second and third of the lines and is looking to move towards even the cannons. Most of our range units are already tied up. The bounce power shifts about 80% in the enemy's favor, maybe 75. First of our units are very much on the verge of collapse, and even more enemy units are moving in. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Drakebeard, but I'm not sure that you can recover from this one. All we can hope to do is back up those Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes. Now, even the artillery crews, even the Iron Drakes with flamethrowers are not critical units. They're all going to have to act in melee while the Trollhammers work on those monsters. We can hold back the tide of the cold ones, we can hold back the Blackheart Corsairs and Furies, but the monsters make too much of a dent in our lines. And it looks like the Black Dragon is finally brought low by the Trollhammers. It does look like our units are routing. Looks like, ooh, one of our Trollhammers is done. One of our Iron Drakes with flamethrowers is done. Grudge Throwers are down to the dregs. Thunderers down to the dregs. Another unit of flamethrowers is out. And our melee line is on the verge of collapse as well. At the very least, the range units that were up there are done. Our one unit of Trollhammers, which is still on the field, is doing a lot of work. It's brought down that Black Dragon and is now focusing down at that Mammoth, which is, by the looks of it, pretty much done for as well. The balance of power shifts further in the enemy's favor to about 85%. As our last Longbeards are looking to start suffering too much damage and be out as well. On the bright side, we do have a little bit of a boon. We saw the slight shift by maybe 2 to 3% of the bounce power in our favor as we suddenly summon the Ancestral Shield Bearers on the battlefield. It does look like we might be able to get this Trollhammer unit back, but another unit will flee, trying to fire on that Master on his chariot to stop the disruption of our back line, trying to kill off the enemy Lord at least with Reclaimer Drakebeard. If he dies and his army should die, they will at least bring down the enemy Lord, or at least attempt to do so. With those Ancestral Shield Bearers. The Mammoth at least is out, and we did try to target the Medusa, but it was absolutely hopeless. Even the Trollhammer torpedoes seem to have no hope of actually hitting the Medusa. I don't know if they have a hidden trait that makes them dodge shots. Certainly some units do have that. Or maybe it's just their hitbox, or the units here are without buffs and thus, or without certain buffs like the engineer stuff, and without the additional accuracy that's offered, making them too inaccurate to hit the Medusa. I don't know. Anyway, there are still monsters running or flying around. The Trollhammers do at last bring down the enemy Feral Stag. There is still an Feral Carnosaur running around, and the Trollhammers will target it as well as we try to keep it pinned in place with the Ancestral Shield Bearers and the Hammerers, or at least those that remain. Longbeards are running out. At least some of our units are recovering. Looks like a couple of our flame units have returned severely damaged and with low numbers, trying to burninate those darn feral cold ones to keep them away from those Trollhammers, which again remain the most critical unit by far of this army. The Trollhammers do at last manage to dish out enough damage to the feral Carnosaur to at least force it to waver and rout, even if not yet bringing it down. The frickin' Medusa are still firing away with those railgun shots of theirs, racking up plenty of kills and damage, and ooh, it looks like our Lord is now wavering as well, being attacked by the Feral Manticore as his shield bearers have had to flee. Does look like a unit of Blackheart Corsairs will move away and off the screen, but the Bloodrack Medusa has moved to our right flanks, or left flank rather, their right flank, so that she can fire perpendicular to our deployment line, or the other Medusa can. It's a pretty good move from the AI here, because no matter which way we deploy our Iron Drakes, the units of Medusa will be able to capitalize on it and dish out plenty of damage by going after critical targets. Oh, it might not be that they can dodge fire, it might be that they get invincibility frames when they get staggered like that, and thus all the shots miss. Maybe that's why. Like that. And see how many... yeah, look at all those torpedoes going wide. Damn, the Medusa. Alright, well, Mount's power obviously still very much in the enemy's favor. We have a couple of melee units still in the fight, desperately trying to hold back the tide of enemy melee from reaching our back line. where the various Iron Drakes are the only things keeping us in the fight damage-wise. The High Lord Reclaimer Drakebeard is out. His Hammerers are nearly out as well. The Ancestral Shield Bearers even are down to 30% of their HP, though it does look like one of our units of Longbeards has managed to capture the enemy Supreme Sorceress, who is now down to 20% of her HP as well. It does look like a unit of Black Ark Corsairs has charged through the sort of hectic mid portion of the battle line and towards our returned Iron Drakes here. And we're trying to burn them a lot. The balance of power shifts to 40% in our favor as one of our warriors rallies, and it looks like with that, the enemy army will shatter. We're down to the dregs. They're down to the dregs. This was absolutely anybody's game. If the enemy had stayed in the fight for another 30 seconds, they might have been able to send us running. Ooh, very, very close fight, and another fantastic one, definitely echoing the first fight against Tamarkan. I'm very impressed that Drakebeard managed to hold those guys off, especially considering that they were all a super high veterancy and just equivalent to ours, as we can see. Absolutely magnificent. And man, it was so hectic and down to the wire. It almost reminds me of one of the early portion of the campaign. I don't remember what the quest battle was, but the quest battles, damn. Wow, absolutely magnificent battle. Maybe even better than the battle against Tamarkan when we almost died. Our army was on the verge of collapse for this entire bloody battle. Nearly every unit was down to the dregs. About, I don't know, 80% of our army routed. Half of them shattered. The rest of them were fighting down to the last man, essentially. And yeah, Reclaimer Drakebeard, you did good, buddy. You did very, very good. I'm actually surprised that the last of the enemy we were able to get them to rout and run. At the end of the day, though, we were able to essentially shatter the monsters and then get them to run, with the exception of those frickin' Medusa. The Trollhammer Torps seem to be not accurate enough to kill them off because, like, I don't know, 80% of their torps are missing them. Lesson learned. Be careful on firing on Medusa with those guys. Better off firing at the walking barns, which we did, but still. Damn Medusa, but yeah, what a fan-frickin-tastic fight. Ooh, well done to the Longbeards for holding the line, for the Hammerers for being there, dishing out the damage, and staying in the fight. Well done, everyone. Wow. Migration. Growth plus 20 at a loss of control. I mean, I don't like the loss of control because of the territories we have that we're holding to give to our allies, so let's not do that. Defeated Drajueth the Ashen, deterred. Oh right, he got killed by these guys. I was hoping that they would do that, but well, hit Magpie Town, which it looks like they're moving towards, and either way, it matters not, because once we're done with this stuff, ally mobilizes, Confederation, Blooded Wanderers, and Fettered Fury. Oh wow, another Confederation for those guys. Good for them. Enemy killed in battle, Obsidian, Stonemason, Talisman, Alright, man, that was a great fight, though. It's completely punted everything out of my mind, because They sunk the Black Ark? Hagrief destroyed? Oh, well done, Ogres! I knew we kept you around for a reason. Someone receives Plague. Okay, well, that's fine. You need to hunt down Ricket, so go here. I'm actually surprised that they didn't attack and tried to claim Bay of Storms, but I guess maybe they're not programmed to do that to the AI. They're only programmed to annoy the player. I would absolutely not be surprised. Anyway, Jamek Doomtamer to Spice Market. Auto-resolve, and occupy. Spice route secured only for a turn, although the corruption, well, I guess for giving this to the undead, they can use their own corruption to heal it, so we don't really well heal it. You know what I mean. Alright, and then you go to Magpie Town. Oh wow, it's a High-tier settlement. Good for them. Honor resolve. And occupy. And the ever-burning helmet of Grugni we get as a reward. Upkeep reduction -10, ambush defense chance, ever-burning light, imbuement flaming attacks, blinded, affects all allies in range, huh? Well, that's quite interesting. I would give this to Jartrom, though on the other hand, the ever-burning helmet of Grugni. Grugni's flaming helmet enabled him to seek his way when tunneling. Maybe we give this to the Tunneler army or the Miners army, and just because. Interesting idea. Anyway, Stonemason, the Legion of Asgore destroyed, and thus the Fallen One's grudge has been completed. Chaos, Dwarfs begrudged restores the Underway network in Uzkalak, Karak Doom, Karak Vrag, and Karak Azorn. Be it written, and that the Council of Kings bore witness to this grudge, declared by all kings, written in their blood and passed down the bloodlines, against the intolerable existence of the Dowie Jar. Many deny the Dowie origins of the Darklands abominations, and our annals tell us very little about the fate of those lost in the age of migration. All must accede the mere suspicion that there exists Dowie who willfully turned from the ancestor gods, our people, and our way of life as a shameful stain upon us all that must be wiped away. And wiped away it has been. The dark lands are cleansed, the Dowie Jar are destroyed, and frankly, the orcs here are destroyed as well. Azrael, you take it. Actually, wait. Yeah, not without another stack. And the rebels died. Okay, well, we're not going to bother getting Thick Proudbeard up here. It's going to take him too long, so screw it. Just destroy these guys. I think we're good. And I think it might be too long to travel anywhere else with these guys, so yeah. They would have had no chance whatsoever. All right. There we are. With that, Jargar Damon, you can... I don't know, you can sit. Just sit here until, or unless we need to move, yeah. In case we need to move, that's the one. And this one can be High King's Tribute and be built up to tier 4. Keep the Slayer building, why not? Too lazy to get rid of it, and it's not a bad place to have some Slayers. I think we have them in the most sort of inhospitable territories anyway, so it does kind of feel like it makes sense. Anyway, we should build a defensive structure here as well. Anyway. Rearguard half hand, you are no longer... Wow, he reached level 50 just by following around and leeching XP. Good for him. We could send him anywhere and have him command an army if we wanted to. Well, King Azrael, you're done. Mourngard, you're done. Everybody here just making sure that you've got the appropriate names, indicating that you don't need to move again. Thick Proudbeard, you can... right. I'd like you to go into our territory, but whatever. You are good now as well. Alrighty. Isn't it lovely? Are these guys too far to travel? Well, they're probably not. Oh, you know what we could do? We could get them to the Steps of Corn. Frankly, we could maybe get Thick Proudbeard up there, just in case the Cornates actually attempt to attack. It is possible. Likely, I don't know. Possible, yes. Alright, so that's where you two will move. Reclaimer or Redbeard, I think you're probably too far away, but we'll give you a shot at this. So go here for now. But Reclaimer Burdrick, you can get the Engineer. And that's the last hero that we have on the field. And then if we can jump you up here, that would be lovely. No, we can't. Alright, so maybe you can just be another Jarguard then. There we go. You will no longer need to move. You're a pretty good army, though, so if we were to need to, we could send you up there. Thorgrim the Thronger. You're going to go here, and I'm going to assume that we can jump there, and then you will join for 20 out of 20 single entities, all hero. Yes, it's silly, and we're probably never going to use it, but, you know, I just want it to exist. It's the principle of the thing. A Reclaimer... Grimtideson, I guess you're gonna move here. You have nearly reached village. You, old as hell, Hein. Wait, is the... Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have sent the follower up here instead to deal with this. Oh, well, not a big deal. Auto resolve. Occupy. Alrighty, and don't collect the income yet, depending on whether we actually want to keep this place or deal with it at all, which I'm not so sure that we do. Reclaimer Stronghold. I'd like you to go to Crooked Peak such that... Oh, there's an army here. Because I wanted to send Oldest Helheim up to deal with village and whatever is here. Probably other village stuff. I think Follower can't go here, though, because, well, he's out of range. It would be even if he did, he'd probably get killed. Not that it would matter in any way. Well, you can maybe help with the Monolith of Urlock once we're there. Hey, you guys! Oh, look at the Sisters of Thor. Oh, wow, what the heck happened to you two? Well, they're not in good shape, but, you know, that's life. Reclaimer Helldower. Now, are you able to reach Brognir? You are not. Okay, well, we need to push you forward, so that hasn't changed. So, Thingrim, you are going to capture Skjold, and then we can send Reclaimer Burdrick right beside it to reinforce, and just move slightly past it, which will allow Ungrim to proceed forward and maybe find whatever killed the, or heavily damaged the Sisters of Twilight here. We do have we do have military access with them. Alright, so you're gonna go here, and then Ungrim. Oh, you know what? March forward. Frankly, even if the enemy dares to try to catch Ungrim's army in march stance, I feel like it's a bad idea either way. Ah, what do we have here? A couple of armies. You know what? You, stay here with these guys. I'll let them try to attack Ungrim himself. With these two armies. Will they try? Maybe, because we're in march stance. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. You can go here, and we'll use you to capture that other location then immediately afterward. I mean, not immediately, but, you know, next turn. Alright, next up, Reclaimer Helldower. Oh, you can, you know what, go here. You can probably capture Bragnir as well if you wanted it to. Joseph Bugman. I guess... no, I don't care about the island. We're way too far past that point. You, Bugman, can... I don't know. Start going to Albion, I guess. At least for now. We'll see. You know, a little bit more damage than I'd like. Follower Skolson, you also need to bring him the stuff. And by the stuff, I mean that unhinged guy that has been trying to reach the army forever, but has not been able to. Well, that's his problem. At least right now it is anyway. Alright, and I wonder if these guys will take Calavid Valley. I wouldn't mind occupying it afterwards. Not that, again, the territories matter over much. Now, where is Bellicor and his armies going? Where are you going, bud? You know what? I'll land here. Land here where you can heal for the turn, hopefully at least a little bit with our Imperial allies. They've been holding on, surviving out here for a while. Hagenbor Iron Pick, I assume that you can go after Bellicor immediately after. I really want to see those Grail Knights and Guardians in action together with you. And who else was moving up here? Other than Bugman, I mean. I think there was at least one other... Oh, or did we send them up here? We might have sent them up here. Oh! Admiral Aspirin. Oh, this is kind of terrible. Yeah, they would have no chance, would they? Let's see what the Auto-Resolve says about this, but I think they'd have no chance. Okay, stop that. Stop with those islands. It's enough. We don't need them. Yeah, they're not willing to fight because they're too weak. I don't even know why they got close to us, but we had to sink these Black Arcs anyway, so we'll sink them. We go Fort Morgus Drenger, Auto-Resolve. And heal up a teensy bit. I'm willing to bet that Sloppy Crookshank will also be too afraid to attack us, so we'll just go here and land at Alquazaro. Oh, lovely. How are we doing out here? Story Asville. Ooh, finally. You're gonna go here into Potes, or Potes, whatever it may be. And at last, at long last, as soon as you're done moving, at long last, you will go here. Should have probably gone an underway stance, but whatever. It only took until the campaign was effectively over for you to get your Quarrelers with great weapons. Why was I so intent on these guys? It's just more Shield Breaker, because the Thunderers and Grudge Rakers, while they do apply Shield Breaker, they're short range, and then the combination of the Quarrelers and the Bugmans can work nicely to help them dish out damage. I'm also surprised how little you're healing here, maybe just trade this place? You know what? Just stay here for a turn. Oh, would you be able to enter the settlement or no? You would. Okay, that'll help you heal up a little bit more then. So yeah, you guys just stay here. Oh, and Fairy Iron Pick. Though these guys are high level, you are no longer needed. And that's another a level of admin that we no longer require. Goodbye. And thank you for helping. Lovely. Alrighty, now, Finark Andraskelson, you will take the territory belonging to the rats here because for some reason Tehanawan refuses to do anything about it. Reclaimer Drakebeard. You know what?
For the wisdom of the
Warvor.
let us begin.
You are now Warvor Drakebeard. You are no longer a mere reclaimer. You earned your sticking around. Also, Cabreros. Not resolve. Again the cannons. Again the cannons. Game. But why? Alrighty, and Cabreros, we will, I don't know, build up. It doesn't really matter. Still. There's no military crackdown. Are you maybe? I guess maybe it was Magritta. Alright, we'll try it one more time, but it looks like the... You know, maybe we're just wasting time. Maybe we should just give all this territory to these guys instead. Screw it, they can have it. I'm done letting these guys revive over and over again. Scap, hold fast, take Havea. If whatever faction spawns here doesn't want to revive, we're not gonna bother. They had their chance. They had 2 turns worth of chance, which was a fairly decent amount. Anyway, we'll trade this away in a bit. After we're done moving through the territory. Anyway, you ferry... Oh, right, you're another ferry. I don't know where to deliver these guys, to be honest, now. Oh, you know what? We could give them to Warvor. Yeah, I don't dislike that. The Thunderers, you know what? Maybe we... They are high level, which it bothers me to replace, but we do have, I think... Oh, we don't have any spare one of these. Well, then it wouldn't be as good. I mean, I guess we could replace one of these and then put another one in. Though at the same time, we'd probably want engineers here and stuff. I'll think about it. Either way, you are going to kill off the rest of this. And Warvor can hunt down Jesha. What do we have at Belmonts, by the way? Well, not too bad, but... not worthy. Not for heroic victory and low casualties. Auto resolve. Especially since one of those armies... Man, what was a fantastic fight. Especially since one of those armies was already destroyed by the other faction. Or by the other faction, by Warvor's army. Speaking of, Warvor, you go kill this. I'm really getting annoyed at that. I gotta say. Always kills the Thunderers. You know what? Kill the stupid Thunderer. Whatever. I don't care enough. It's too much. It's too much to constantly have to deal with that. Thunderer, other Thunderer. Here's what you can do. You can... Oh. You guys go to Karaz. Maybe I should have just upgraded him before attacking. It's too late now. Alright, go here, and I would like you to become a... I don't know, another Iron Drake. There we go. Do we need that many Iron Drakes? I don't know, but what I do know is that you won't die to the auto resolve. Actually, you will. I lied. Alrighty. Well darn. That didn't quite work out in the way that I had envisioned. Are you able to march stance? You are. Go here. Trade the heavily damaged Iron Drake away. Drang them indeed, sir. Drang them indeed. Trade this. And then back off so that it doesn't die. Now one of the Quarrelers will die. Die. Wait, can we evolve you into something that will make you not die? I don't even remember which one it was. We could just evolve them all into Iron Drakes. You know what, screw it. Become Iron Drakes then, if that's the way you want to play this. Oh no, they'll lose all their HP because they can't evolve with keeping their HP, can they? Nonetheless, I want to see if this changes the auto resolves a bit. Oh, actually it didn't do... Huh, I guess it only hurts the single entities. Alright, fine, then do this. Really? Now it's gonna kill the Torp Iron Drake? Game. I'm trying to preserve these units because this guy had a great fight and you're not letting me. Alright, well, you know what? We have a spare Iron Drake. Screw it, you die now. Probably, honestly, would have been almost as fast as just to fought it, but whatever. Alrighty. There you go, bud. Watch these Skaven now attack you.
Need my warp token stash.
Yeah, alrighty, and... you you know what, since you have so many Iron Drakes, you can have this Grudge Settler Iron Drake. And this one can become a Troll Hammer to replace the one that we lost. There we go. Necessary? No. But it is what it is. Engineer. Put him in there. There we go. And technically you would Runesmith would have really helped there, but we can't summon Runesmiths here, so it is what it is. Alrighty, there we go. Now we moved everybody except Kazran, who can march stance all the way over here. Maybe we'll have him jump to Scab Reach while we while keep moving Brock out here. Alright. That looks pretty good. You guys have all moved, We have to continue moving you to where you need to be, but you are already near to where you need to be. Actually, you can move past this, you can move past... Are you not able to go up here? Okay, fine, go here. Alright, all the wood elves are starting to dislike us for the, you know, million trespasses, but you know what, that was always gonna kinda happen, so, yeah. Oh, we'll need to park a proper army near to Daith, I think. I will think about it. Anyway, Thorgrim. I see a certain cowardly Manfred ran away like a little coward, and, well, that's annoying, but, fine. Alright, you know what we can then do? We can declare war on him either way. They're allied with... Okay, fine, I'm not gonna bother with you. They're fighting Guardians of the Valley, Talk, join war, Drakenhof Conclave, yes. We have no bone to pick with you, I think. You, Thorgrim, will move to reinforce at the Canal of Abundance, and we'll see whether we can go to Sedget Temple immediately afterwards or no. We can. So, Follower, you are going to go here to Canal of Abundance. Like so. We're gonna auto-resolve it for obvious reason. Really? Really? This garbage? Okay. Auto-resolve, you're annoying me to death. Alright, sack this. Not take it, sack it. Why? The reason is this. We are going to have you, Cetra, join our war against the Drakenhof Conclave by giving you the Lost Ruins. Then, hopefully, you will take the Canal of Abundance because it's effectively free territory. And then Belagar, I would like you to... I don't know, go down here somewhere. It doesn't really... Not a big deal. Alright, Thorgrim, you can move to Sedget Temple. I wonder if Manfred's close enough to immediately attack you while you're severely damaged. I guess we're about to find out, because now we have 20 units of hammerers each. And if they want to attack us with like 30 armies, I'm willing. Not you though, Follower. You're fine where you are. Just go here so that you hopefully can't be killed. Hopefully Cetra goes after this. And you know what? We can hopefully, if not guarantee it, at least make it a little bit easier. You are going to auto-resolve this. Then you're going to sack it. Then we're going to have you go to Temple Shrine of Ramatep while Skag Ulfrowner goes here. Oh, there's a full stack there. It doesn't matter. They can't kill the Grimtide. They know they can't. They wouldn't even try. Alright, like so. Oh, but I do wonder whether they can reach... Nope, they cannot. So you're free to take it anyway. Alright, beautiful. I just don't want Cetra bothering to go up here because this is all territory that's going to Katep. Cetra would probably just demand Katep give him the territory, and then Katep would immediately give it to him. I think we all know that that's exactly what would happen. Muster the Throng. Go to the Tombs of the Four Pillars. Groth Barak, you're going to reinforce. And, oh. I think we have to push you this way because of the Skaven there. Pretty sure it's full of Skaven, like 90%. We're about to find out, I guess. We could grab that and then go down to the Valley of the Locusts. So these guys will not be alive for very long, especially since the other Tomb Kings, the Guardians of the Valley, are pushing northward. Well, thank you for that. It is well done. Occupy. Now, out of curiosity, We just have to build the Hall of the Ancestors. We don't even have to care about the other stuff. Just kill them. The Court of Libaros is the biggest issue because, I mean, A, all of this, and B, there's just a lot of them, and the Reclaimer can't do anything about it. I just got to get our real armies to move here. Well, actually, you're a Reclaimer army to auto-resolve, but you are a real army, Stachel. You didn't have as much fun against Imric as I was hoping you would, so... I wonder if we abandon this place, would the ogres be willing to occupy it? We might be able to tell them to do so. You know what? Try to abandon Bogler country. I'd really prefer not to have to bother with this place. Bogler with this place. And as Joseph of Zorn, you'll wipe those guys out. We'll abandon and hopefully tell them to deal with it. Okay, yeah, let's build some basic one-turn stuff here. If anything else is one turn before we trade it, because I just want to make sure that we force the undead to declare war on everyone. That's our enemy, basically. And between these 4 territories, I think we should be able to... should be perfectly capable of doing so. And then that'll keep them friendly with the ogres, etc. You guys still need to move. Go for Galaktha, and go for Galaktha. Yeah, we'll see about that. And you. And you. There are 6 thunder barges between all of that, and no wonder they will be able to destroy the enemy, though they will take damage while doing so. Occupy. Alright, these orcs are nearly gone, and these armies can then be deleted or just set up on the coast so that they never have to move again like all those others. Build this up, we're going to trade this to the ogres. Oh, good. Oh, 1 turn. Isn't that lovely? There you go. Enjoy that, ogres. Not that they could take advantage of it, but yeah, look at this. We've got this ogre all along the River Ruin, and then like this again, all along the River Ruin with the sentinels, where we set up our fortified territory to look over the ogre lands and deliver, you know, and trade with them and stuff. And then the ogres and the undead can be set up here to fight the forces of chaos here. Hopefully the undead can fight off chaos permanently while we essentially never go past the Mortis River. And I guess that's not the exact same thing happening on this side, but yeah, it's good. I like it. I like it a lot. Anyway, oh. I didn't move. No, I did move you. Okay, wait. Where did we not move anybody? Or Gromby. Oh, up north. Yeah, okay. Gromby. I guess you're just gonna push towards Beacon? Go to Beacon? This place is just named Beacon? Okay, fair enough. No Archaon. What about you? Can you move here without suffering attrition? Apparently not, but you can jump nearly to the same distance. Alaric Ranulfson, and go for Pit of Reflections. And Malachi McKyson, you're going to Zunbai. No. Okay, no. That for a second it might have been Archaon, but no. You're going here. And then 2 Plain of Zunbaijin, which apparently everybody from everywhere is trying to get towards. As to whether they can achieve it, I don't know. But even if they can't, well, we can always help them out. Alaric, take Pit of Reflections. Unresolve. Did I move Thoric this turn? I guess we're about to find out. Alright. Like so, and like so, and like... I don't know, whatever. Thoric, you cannot reach... Oh, you can reach 9 graves. Oh, but it's got... Plague. No, you know what? Don't do that then. Go to... maybe start... You know what? Go here. Go here. We'll send him to Fetid Gorge and then move him like this. And then ignore this for now, mostly just because I don't want to implaganate him for no reason. Reclaimer Whitebeard, you can sort of travel through the less corrupted territories, just might speed you up. At Teen Seabit, we already moved you this turn. Now let's double check who we did not move as we prepare to end the turn. Alright, let's see. Coast Guard Asgal as a Coast Guard doesn't need to move. Dwinbar Ranulfson. Right, you are supposed to besiege... yes, you're supposed to besiege Doom Mountain. Let them try. I want to fight this. I want them to sally out. Oh, I guess we won't be able to end the turn. We'll probably have to save the fight until next episode, but it does look like a good one, so it'll be fun when we get there. Auto-resolve for obvious reasons. And occupy for also obvious reasons. Alrighty, and... Oh, actually, you can collect the income because we're keeping this place. We have to have Doom Mountain. Please don't tell me it's a tier 5. No, okay, it's tier 4, so we should be able to still take it at the requisite levels. And then we'll have to send somebody down to Ashmere. We also have you. Scout. Reclaimer, Thrund, Bugman. You, I assume, cannot jump down here?
I will not shame
Can they not?
my clan.
Alright, fine. Go here. I just wanted to make sure that we have a little army to send... Oh, well, I guess if you're moving this way... Well, we'll probably need a little bit of help against the Drakenhof Conclave. Or we could pass through the mountains and move towards Kalita. Frankly, that's probably what we'll do with Duinbar Ranulfson. I want to see those axes face off against Stephen. My lord, she's got a lot of armies. But it is the Tomb Kings, you know. Anyway, I think... Let's see. I assume there's no more battles to be had, but let's take a quick look-see, just in case there are. Jargard Death Dealer. You're a Jargard. Wait, I just realized something. And Duinbar Ranulfson, did I build the siege equipment? Because in case these guys are too scared to... No, yeah, I did build the siege equipment. I don't know why I canceled that, but whatever. The buildings I will probably do between the episodes as usual. Duinbar Ranulfson, Jargard ignored, Morngard ignored, Ungrim Thungni of Zorn, you're fine. Woodguard Reclaimer. Not a guard. Oh, you can start moving up here. See what we got out here. Nothing too crazy. And Reclaimer Hammerfist. You're going the same direction. There we go. Reclaim those garbage little territories with no defenders. You are going up this way. We need Chenhild's Monolith as part of a legendary quest. And I did move these guys, right? I did. Can't believe I forgot these guys then. Really hoping that these guys try to attack Ungrim while he's in march stance. Alright, Duinbar Ranulfson already checked you. Belagar. No, not Belagar, that was Morngard Whitebeard. Although Belagar didn't move to the max of his range. Why? Go to the max of your range. Alright, now that's good. Anybody else that needs to move that isn't a guard of some kind? Woodguard? Nope. Kara Grundledrak. You're actually kind of good where you are. You know what? I'd like you to sit in the Swamp of Terror for now. Just sit here. I don't know whether we need to move you again. It's possible, but it might not be. Morngard doesn't need to move. Reclaimer. You're a Reclaimer, not a Morngard, or a guard of any kind. You can... Oh, you're still trying to catch up. You know what? Maybe we'll cut through to go here so that you can thus not have to worry about catching up in the same manner. Alright, go here. Mr. Gundrickson. Jargard doesn't need to move. Jargard doesn't need to move. Jargard. Reclaimer Stout Peak. You need to move. Oh. I'll deal with you between the episodes. I was going to modify your army slightly. Because I want you to go to Alpha Lauren in a bit. And I think that's pretty much... Wait, Troop Fair... No, you don't need to move. Jargard, Stachel, Reclaimer, Stout... Oh, that's the guy I just clicked, my bad. In my defense, there's a lot of them, and I'm trying to remember who's who. You are going to become a Jargard, or... Honestly, I don't really care about you.
The axe thirsts for war.
Reduce the admin. Slightly. Thanks for the help. Reclaimer Burdrick? Who knows? We might have uses for you. And... I think... we should be at the end of the turn. Anyway, I'm just going to assume that we're at the end of the turn, or at the very least so close to it as to make no difference, so I'm going to call the episode here, and we'll end the turn next time and hopefully get attacked with, like, 3-ish enemy attacks, and that'll be real nice if it does happen. So, Bait, what are you doing again? Oh, right, I made you to sink the Black Arcs, or I didn't make you, but you know what I mean. Go sink that. Just have to make sure that it gets done, because otherwise these guys will have a million Black Arcs still floating around out there, and what that'll mean is that the faction can't get destroyed and we can't complete our legendary grudge, which ain't so great. And there we go. Thank you, Bait. As we said about him before, truly a master of his craft, and you can go return to the Isle of Grief, I guess. War coordination target lost. Oh. Did they sink the other one, or did they cowardly run away and float away and then go to somewhere else? Anyway, like I said, I'm going to call it here. If there's any little bits of admin left to do, I'll deal with them between the episodes, and then next time, once we come back, we'll immediately end the turn, and upon ending it, okay, yeah, you stay there. And immediately upon ending it, we will hopefully get into some good fights. Alright, nearly there. We've arrived on Albion, so I'm thinking Be'lakor versus our sort of Slayers and Errantry Knights, or Errant Knights, well, Grail Knights, whatever. That army will face off. We're still looking for the Blessed Dread's main stack. Haven't encountered it, but hopefully we'll find it with Ungrim or with somebody. Stay tuned. All glory to the algorithm. Likes and comments below. And thanks for watching.